everyone, and welcome to Proposals That Sell. Thank you for joining us today, wherever you are, morning, noon, or night, and taking this journey to continue your education here with us on Upwork. My name is Regan Lara, and I'm one of 3 U.S. ambassadors. I'm from Tampa, Florida, but I currently live in Sacramento, California. And a little about me, I'm a former business professor, but I've been freelancing for about 2 years now. I'm also an ambassador for Upwork, as I mentioned, a freelance consultant and event planner. And a fun fact about me is that I'm also a certified PADI diver. So I love getting outside and exploring, whether above water or below water. I just really love to get outside any chance I can get when I'm not working from my home office here. So a little bit about our agenda for today. We're going to talk about how to set yourself up for success. We're going to go over some proposals that sell and what are the good and great components of them. And then we're going to show some examples of successful proposals. And this is just a reminder, and I'd really like to emphasize this, that all the tips and tricks shared here are just suggestions. It doesn't mean that everything is going to work for you. So just take it as advice. Don't think you have to implement everything. Everyone's business is different. So don't feel like everything learned here you need to go apply to your business immediately. Just take notes and take it for what it's worth and apply what makes most sense to you and your business. So working smarter, not harder. Most independent professionals spend a lot of time searching for projects and sending out proposals. They also aim to send out as many as possible as quickly as possible. And this is not necessarily the best way to work smarter, not harder, right? So the most successful independent talent on our platform spend less time sending proposals overall because they know their value and they use their time wisely. So they send a lower quantity, but a higher quality. So the key takeaway here is quality over quantity. I know in the beginning, this might seem like a bit of an exception, but you should not aim to send out as many proposals as possible. Instead, do your research. Look into the client and their website. Write something personal in your proposal so the client knows that you've really read and done your research, and make sure you're a great fit for their project. You really want to stand out by maybe asking some questions that you have about the job posting or sharing some ideas or insights that you might have, rather than just a template, a cookie cutter proposal that you can send out to a lot of clients at once. Clients are very savvy to this and will feel like you might not care enough to take the time to write a real proposal. So why would you care enough to spend the time and effort on their project and help them grow their business? So setting yourself up for success on Upwork. Think like an entrepreneur. Focus on your unique expertise, identify your target market, and then differentiate yourself. So don't try to be everything to everyone. You need to develop your niche and build your brand around that. So your sphere of genius, as we like to call it, is where your expertise or what you're really good at overlaps with what you love. And this is really where you should focus. So once you do that, you can more easily identify your target market and find ways to differentiate yourself to the competition. So you really want to be that niche expert, that really specific person who no one else could do the job just like you can. That way you're going to provide high-level service to your clients, you're going to be an expert in what you're offering, and you're going to love doing it, which means you're going to provide the highest quality work to your clients while you're enjoying it as well. So another tip is to create a client-centric profile. That's a little bit of a mouthful there, but make your profile about your clients rather than just about yourself. So how can you help them? You need to describe yourself as a competent and competent expert who can solve the client challenges. So describe your services and your skills in words that clients also use in their job postings. So if you're having some trouble trying to decide what to read, why don't you go read some job postings for jobs that you would really like to land, see the language that they're using, see what kind of skills they're looking for, and if you have those, if you can incorporate them into your profile. Another thing you could do is, rather than just searching for jobs that are already posted, you can search other freelancers' profiles that are in a similar niche as you. So at the top of the search bar where you type in jobs that you might be searching or keywords, rather than selecting jobs, there's a little drop-down arrow button, and you click that, and you can select freelancers. So select freelancers and then type in a similar type of freelancing to what you do. So maybe copywriting, maybe IT, maybe sales professional. And you can review some of the top-rated freelancers in your niche. So read their profile, see what they say about themselves, how they lay it out. Maybe take a few keywords from their profile as well so that you can use them in yours and stand out from the crowd. So you should also list skill tags that reflect your expertise. So definitely leveraging all sections of your profile, make sure it's 100% complete. Again, this kind of goes back to showing the client that that you're serious, that you really care. If you don't take the time to fill out all parts of your profile, why are they going to think that you're going to take the time to complete all parts of their project? So it's just a little simple step, but it really stands out to clients when you're 100% complete. And then also make sure you're updating your profile with new skills and your expertise regularly, just making sure you stay current. If you take an online training course as you continue to work with additional clients, make sure you're updating your profile with skills or projects that you've worked on so that you can continue to evolve and stand out from your competition and show your clients what great work you can do as well. So a quick little fact is that 37% of projects posted on Upwork are actually posted privately, which means they're invite only. So that just goes to show again how important it is to create a great profile and making sure that it's client-centric so that as soon as they see your profile, they say, wow, this freelancer can really help me. I'm going to invite them to apply for my job. So think of your profile as how you present yourself to your prospective clients, how you're going to grab their interest and set yourself apart from your competition to eventually land new projects. So it's basically your sales pitch about yourself and how you're going to land clients and why you can help them be successful. So another tip is that your profile is also matched on Upwork. So Upwork will read through your terms, your skills, and try to match you with the right jobs. So if you see your recommended jobs page, jobs for you, that comes from both your selected interests and the information that you include on your profile. So just make sure, again, that you're updating it and that it's true to what you're looking for and what you have expertise in. And for that little extra boost, you can always add a video introduction to your profile, like the one you see here. And that's a pretty new feature we've added in the last couple of months. That's really exciting because it enables you to really, really stand out from the crowd. And it enables your client to get a little sneak peek about what you're like, what it would be like to work with you, and just see how amazing you are. So if you want to add that little extra boost to stand out, definitely check that out and make sure you go work on your video introduction to add to your profile. So a complete profile shows your talent a lot of things, but just to start with is showing using a catchy and descriptive title to pitch to your prospective clients that really catches their eye when they just read your first bolded title. Use a professional yet personal overview. Use a professional profile picture. So try to make sure that it's a clear background, that you're smiling, that you don't have sunglasses on your eyes, hats, or anything like that. Just try to be as personable and as professional as possible. As I just mentioned on the last slide, stand out with an introduction video. Again, this is a new feature, so you might not have seen that many people taking advantage of it, but you definitely should. Also showcase your best work in the profile section. List your education and employment history, any certifications. This doesn't need to be a complete resume per se, but just all the things that are relevant to the work that you're seeking on Upwork and to show your potential clients how much of an expert you really are in this field. Make sure you set your availability and keep it up to date, as well as your responsiveness score. That's a part of your JSS, which is your job success score, is how responsive you are. So if you get messaged from a client, if you get invited to interview or submit a proposal, make sure you're responding to that as quickly as possible, and definitely ideally within 24 hours. Don't wait longer than that because that's going to take down your responsiveness score and your job success score. Also, make sure to update your profile visibility. This just means whether or not people on or off the platform can see it, and you can change this in your settings as well. And evaluate your hourly rate based on experience. So you might need to start out at a little bit lower of a rate, or maybe you're already confident in your expertise and you can start out at a rate you're comfortable with. I would also suggest for this that we not only have an entire webinar covering this topic on how to set your pricing, but again, you can also search other freelancers, as I mentioned before, and see what rates they're offering and see what is their level of expertise and how do you compare to them. And that should help you with a good starting point on where you should set your hourly rate. And again, as you continue to take on more projects, work with more clients, complete more courses, make sure that you're updating the hourly rate and charging more as your expertise grow, because don't underestimate your value. That's what clients are looking for. They're looking for your experience, your knowledge, your expertise. So don't sell yourself short. You probably know a lot more than you think that you do. So another thing you can do to stand out is displaying your ID verified badge. So this is a verified badge that you see the little blue check mark next to your name, kind of like you're verified on Twitter. But you get verified here just by submitting your valid government ID and completing a video verification call. This is only rolled out in stages, so depending on the country that you're in, this may or may not be available to you yet, but if it is, you can check in your settings and go ahead and apply for it. The notification will appear when you log into Upwork if you are able to apply and you haven't yet done so. And this is important just to add an additional layer of security, both for clients and freelancers, to say that you really are who you say you are. You're not a robot who's pretending to do work on behalf of someone else, or you're not someone different altogether. So this is, again, just to protect the integrity of the work that we do here on Upwork, and we make it pretty simple for you to apply and get that badge. So another important valuable tip is to search for jobs that suit you. So try it out. Don't filter by keywords, so you can just see more opportunities. I love doing that because sometimes you don't even know what you're looking for. So sometimes it's really fun to just look at all the suggested jobs or jobs for you, or searching by keywords that you wouldn't normally search by to see what comes up, because oftentimes clients might not always use the same terms that you use as well. So maybe it could still be a great fit for you. They just didn't have those keywords in their posting. And if you're only ever filtering by keywords, then you're going to miss out on seeing those opportunities. So look through your full job feed. It really doesn't take that long, especially if you have the mobile app on your phone. I do it all the time. It only takes a few minutes to just open it up, scroll through, and it's updated all the time, every day, even hourly. So I've seen new jobs that'll be posted a few minutes ago. And you can gain a huge advantage in your proposal as well if you're one of the initial people to apply. A lot of times the client is looking for help and they need help right away. They don't want to wait a month to hire someone as they would in a traditional workforce. So if you're one of the first initial applicants, that'll also really give you a leg up in getting your proposal viewed and potentially an interview as well. So like I just mentioned, remember that sometimes clients don't always use the same words that you do. So you might be missing out on opportunities that would be great for you if you're only searching by keywords. And don't discount clients just because they're new. Especially in light of the pandemic, there's been a huge shift towards freelancing and online work. So there might be really established companies that are very professional and it would be amazing to work with that are new to Upwork. So they might not be completely clear on how to write the best job description, how to include the right budget or proposed terms. But don't let that discount you from applying. You should at least apply and have that conversation with them. That's how you can show your client that you're really thinking about this job. When you send them questions in your proposal to say, hey, I think that would be a great fit because X, Y, Z. I would also love to discuss with you this question, and this question. I'm available for a call tomorrow or Monday. Let me know if there's a time in there that works for you. And then that really stands out to those clients that this person is a professional. They already have questions for me that I might not have even been anticipating asking. So I can trust this person to get the work done for me that I need to get done. But at the very least, you can have a conversation about it in that initial video call or voice call for an interview and see if you guys are a good fit. And lastly, you can also use the save search feature to save time when you return. So if you do have a certain keyword or a certain search that you really like and you find a lot of good jobs coming up in there, you can save them to come back to later. So another important piece is selecting the jobs that match your skills. So sometimes there are questions you should ask yourself before applying to a job. So not all jobs are equal, and freelancers shouldn't just try to blindly submit proposals for every single job that comes up in your category. You need to think about the way that you're using your connects on the platform and which jobs you can complete in an efficient manner and give your client high quality results. So keep in mind that even if you can technically do a job, ask yourself if you really want to do that job. Ultimately, the want and the interest in the job will have an impact on the overall results of your completed project. So again, just because it comes up in your suggested job feed doesn't mean that it would be the perfect fit for you. If it's not something that you're actually authentically interested in, then it's going to be hard to bring yourself fully and give the best work to your client that they deserve and that you want to give, because it's also important to make sure that you're getting great reviews on your profile as well. So that definitely starts with making sure that the jobs are a good match for you. So a few questions you can ask yourself would be, do I have the right skills and interests for the job? Do I have the time for the scope of project, which is very important? Let's say that this project is going to be 6 months to a year and you're not sure what you will have going on at that point, or maybe you're planning a family, planning a move, and you don't anticipate having that much time. That's definitely something important to discuss with the client upfront to make sure that you're both on the same page and to prevent any lapses in communication, we should say. Also checking to see, does the client have reasonable expectations? Are they expecting a huge amount of work to be done for a very little amount of money? That might be something that they might not have realistic expectations for themselves, and that you don't need to be applying for and signing yourself up for that if you think that there's no way that they can get these deliverables in the time frame and the budget that you think is actually fair. So also the second piece of the reasonable expectations is the rate offered accessible for your skill level? So if you really are a highly experienced professional, you might have years of experience in the industry or professional certifications, there's no need for you to apply for rates that are below your expertise, because you are bringing value to the table. Don't undersell yourself there, because these clients are really coming here to get help rather with their business, and to find a professional that can do that for them. So some reasons you can tell them that your rate is higher is that you work more efficiently with your expertise. You can get the job in less amount of hours than a less experienced freelancer, or just because of the true industry knowledge and value that you bring. So again, if the client doesn't have reasonable expectations for it to be completed either on a time frame or either on a budget perspective, make sure that you're looking at these when you're considering what jobs to apply for. And if you still want to apply for it, make sure you're discussing it in the initial interview phase before you sign a contract and agree to work with them or anything. So remember, you can always propose a different rate in your proposal rather than just what the client has budgeted. They do have to choose a budget when they are writing their job description. So again, sometimes the client just might not be clear on what the right budget would be, and they're forced to choose one. So if you feel like you can give them some guidance or suggestion on that, or you can, again, just propose a different rate in your proposal and see if they come back to you. It's always a point of negotiation. It doesn't hurt to try. And lastly, but definitely not least, is does the client have a good hiring and feedback history? So you can check this if you see down here on the bottom with the little stars there. That's going to be about the client. So it'll show here that this client has a 4.72 review out of 138 reviews. That means they are averaging close to 5 stars out of the 138 jobs that they've hired for on the platform. So that means that the clients are positively reviewing them, they're enjoying working with them, and you can even scroll down further on the client's page to read reviews and testimonials that previous freelancers and independent talent have left for them. So this is really important to me, because I always see it as kind of like an Amazon review. We don't buy anything on Amazon these days without reading the reviews. So why would you submit a proposal for a job before you've done a little bit more research on what it's like to work for that client? If you see great reviews, you see they're really flexible, they have great communication, then you should definitely consider applying if you think it's a good fit. Because if you have questions that are still unanswered, or you are a little unclear on the rate you want to propose, if the client is flexible or has great communication, these are things that you guys can discuss in the initial interview phase and potentially get worked out to still get a contract signed. So super, super important. I always recommend checking those out before you apply for any jobs. So now moving into the actual proposals that sell portion. So here's an example of a cover letter. It says, I'm a seasoned professional with 9+ years of experience, web and mobile UI and UX design, 6+ years in team management. Also, I like to design logos. This is my passion. I have large work experience with clients from USA, Czech Republic, England, Germany, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, etc. I specialize in web, UI, UX design since 2007 year. Now I work alone, but in the past I had a small design and development company that specialized in development, support, and promotion of web and mobile projects since 2012 to 2014. So I can help you with any project in web development and design. I offer professional assistance to my clients, providing a full range of services from the initial consultation to the turnkey project. I have listed my skills and experience. That's Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, Azure, interface design, usability, flat material design, research and investigation, user experience design, user interface design, HTML, CSS. I'm looking forward to working with you. So let's dive into this a little deeper. The structure of this proposal is basically, this is my background, I can help you in many ways, and here's a list of my skills. Just pick one that matches your project. But does this proposal really offer value to the client? Does it address the client's specific challenges? Does it mention how they would approach the project and give any key experience that would make them well suited for this job? Does it ask any key questions that you would like to discuss before starting the project? And how does it really stand out among the crowd with any personal touches? So again, it's kind of missing all of those key value add features that we mentioned before, not only in writing your profile, but also especially your proposals, because clients can read all of this information about you on your profile. They can see the skills that you have. They can see some of the past clients that you've worked with or the experience that you've had. So you don't really need to just reiterate that in your proposal form. You need to be specific with this client and let them know that you understand the challenges that you're facing and you have the experience needed help solve them. So by addressing the client's challenge in the initial line of your proposal, mentioning how you'd approach it, some ideas that you have, and maybe some experience or jobs that you worked on that were similar to this one that would help make you successful. And I love this one. This one's my favorite, is asking key questions that you'd like to discuss before starting the project. Because again, communication is key. So making sure that you have a clear understanding of what the job is, what the client needs, and also that the client has a clear understanding of you and of the experience you have and of the questions that you have. So if you're asking really key, deep diving, important questions, the client's going to know that, wow, this person really is thinking deep about my job. They're thinking deep about how they can help me. And they're already asking me those questions up front in the proposal. I would really like to talk to this person further and at least interview them to see if they'd be a good fit for my job. So another important tip, if you guys didn't know this already, but we love to mention it, is the upside down proposal approach. So you know that a little additional question in some proposals that'll say, submit your cover letter and then the answers to these additional questions. So 26% of jobs do require you to answer one or more additional questions. And if you didn't know, these actually appear first in your response and your proposal to clients. So this is what they'll see here. They'll see your job title, your proposed budget, and the answers to your additional questions first. So the upside down approach is basically suggesting that you need to answer these questions first before going to your cover letter. So your client will see the additional questions first. So for your upside down approach and to stand out and get attention, focus most of your effort on answering the additional questions. Because these are questions that the client has specifically wanted answered from every person who applies, they've taken the time to think of these questions, to include them. It means that they're really important to them, and the answers that you give are going to be really important to them as well. So make sure that you're looking at these, really thinking deep about them, seeing if you can provide any additional experience, any additional questions, any additional insights. Again, talking about how you would approach the project, all really good things to use in your questions, the additional questions box in your upside down proposals approach. A little word of advice or caution though is don't neglect your cover letter. Just because the client has additional questions doesn't mean they're not going to read your cover letter, because they absolutely are. The additional questions oftentimes are only one or two. So while they're the most important, your cover letter is still extremely important. So let those questions be as a guide for you as what's super important for this client to learn more about you, to understand the approach that you would bring to their project, and let that guide how you're going to write your cover letter. So top 3 tips for your proposal will be: number 1, to recognize. Acknowledge the client's unique project and explain how you are uniquely qualified to solve his or her problems. This is kind of how I was mentioning it before in that first proposal that we looked at that was not necessarily well structured to show value to the client. You first need to recognize the need of their project. What are they trying to get done? What are they trying to accomplish? And how can you acknowledge that and also show them with details of your experience how you can help be the best fit? So number 2, maybe the second paragraph here, assure the client that you care about helping them succeed. Again, this goes back to making sure your proposal is unique and personable, making sure that your profile is completely filled out, because you want to show the client that you care. The client needs help with their business, whether it's their own business startup or work that they're working on, a really big project at work. They obviously really care about this project, and they want to hire someone who cares just as much, because why would they want someone who doesn't care about the success of their project? The person is probably not going to give them the best level of work. So if you really convey to them that you care, and you can do this again by asking questions. Ask questions that you need answered that were not clear in the job description, or questions about how you think that you would like to approach this job. Would you like consider this approach? Would you want to take on this additional add-on as well? This is going to show the client again that you really thought about it and that you really care about their job. And number 3 is preview. So describing your approach to the project and your working style. So after you have recognized their problem, shown them that you cared by asking some additional questions, preview what it would be like to work with you. So talk about some ideas you have, the approach that you would take to the project, and your working style. This is going to be a really comprehensive, really helpful structure for your proposals that clients will love. Again, it's clear and concise. It's providing a lot of value to them rather than just reiterating what is already on your profile or on your resume. Because again, clients can go there to read that. That's what it's for. So this is where you really take the chance to shine and stand out by recognizing their problem, showing them that you care, and then previewing what it would be like to work with you and why you'd be amazing. So a lot of clients, you also want to make it easy for them to schedule a call with you, because a lot of clients come to Upwork with an incomplete understanding of how their job should be completed. That's why they're seeking help. They're not completely sure the level of expertise that they need, the time frame that's going to take to get done, or the correct approach they should take for the project. So that's why they're seeking your help and your expertise. So don't be shy to give them guidance and establish yourself as a trusted resource for them to ask questions and be open and honest with them and help guiding them on this project. So you should also learn to expect this and spend some time upfront to help clients work through the process. So it's a big part of completing successful projects, is just having that open communication, asking all of your questions, making sure that you're both clear on what needs to be done, what the deliverables are, what is and is not acceptable, and establishing that open and honest communication up front is going to just help your relationship flourish long term and help you get the project completed successfully and on time. So another way to stand out is to stand out with effort from the start. Make sure that your proposal is customized to each job posting so you stand out as a strong candidate. Again, clients are really going to know if you're just sending a canned proposal. They're going to think that you're not enthusiastic about the job, and maybe you just don't have time to dedicate to this project if you're just sending out mass-made proposals. So again, that's not going to show them that you care. That's not going to show them that you've recognized their specific needs and their problems. And it's probably not going to talk about your work on or your approach that you would take on this specific project either. So it doesn't take as long as you think, really just maybe 5 or 10 minutes to write a really nice cover letter after you've read the job posting, you've looked at their website, you've read the reviews of what it's like to work with them, and you've come up with a few questions that you would like to ask them to show them that you care and thinking about the approach you would take on the project. So it's really not too hard. You just got to get in a rhythm of doing it. And I promise it'll help you so much. It'll help you stand out from the crowd and avoid clients thinking that you just don't care or you're not enthusiastic. So if you really need to save time, something you could do would be to consider creating a template skeleton, but not just a pre-written, pre-recorded proposal. Again, clients are going to know that you're doing this, and they're just going to think that you're not interested enough. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but if you really need to, or you think that you can create a good skeleton where you can still add in those 3 tips of the review, care, and preview, then go ahead. So another way to multiply your chances of getting a response is to start with a compelling first sentence to grab the client's attention. It's going to be the first thing they read, and it's really going to pull them in. Number 2 would be, don't be afraid to give the client some guidance and to show your expertise. Again, this is what we mentioned. Clients are coming to Upwork because they need help. They're looking for an expert. They're looking for that really niche industry expert, which is you. So don't be shy on giving them some advice. Again, be professional, be courteous. Don't be rude, of course, but show them that you're an expert. Show them that you have questions. Show them, that you have expertise and experience in this field and why you'd be the perfect person to help them execute this job. Number 3 would be always ending your proposal with a specific call to action. Like I mentioned earlier, my favorite is to say, I'm available for a call tomorrow morning or Monday afternoon. Let me know if there's a time in there that works for you, because that shows that you're already dedicated to taking the next step with them, and you're making it really easy for them to take that next call to action by just saying, you know what, yes, we'll just schedule a call for tomorrow and see how it goes. So really all you need is that first yes, and then they'll see, how great it is to work with you, how great it is to discuss with you, and hopefully you guys will move on from there. So that's the last piece as well, making it easy for them to schedule a call with you. So that's why I love that to be my call to action. I kind of work 2 together into one, of saying, schedule a call, let's take that next step. Let's discuss further and see how we can both work together, and if this is a mutually beneficial fit. So before you click send on your proposal, there are a few important things which might seem a little redundant, but are still super important, because you would be surprised the amount of mistakes that even I've made. So skip your typical intros like, hi, my name is, but still personalize your proposal. When you can read about the client, or if you go onto their website and you read the About Us page, maybe you can find some names there. So you could say, hey, Brian, hey, Sally, and that'll really stand out as well that you've done your research rather than just, hi, client. Match the tone of the client or the project, so always use a professional and friendly tone. Respond to their questions and address specific items they listed in their posting. So again, we already talked about the additional questions in the upside down approach, but if they have any other questions or things they would like to hear more about that they post in their job posting, make sure you read that and address that as well, so they know that A, you're really reading the description, and B, that you really care enough to include it in your proposal as well. Make it easy to scan through. So don't make just one long paragraph that's going to be hard to read. Try to split it up and make it easy on the eyes. Probably no more than about 3 paragraphs though. Restate the main points and don't bury the lead. So start with your unique qualifications. So again, when you're recognizing the client's problem or challenge, that's also a good time to state your unique qualifications of saying, hi, I understand that this is what you're looking for. I would be a perfect fit because X, Y, Z. Make sure the client understands your unique value. So why you are unique, why you stand out from the competition, and why you and your unique experiences would be the perfect fit to help them with this project. And then of course, reread, edit, and consider. So always just making sure you're proofreading it, checking your typos and your grammars, maybe even having someone else read over it quickly if you need, just to double check. It never hurts to have a second set of eyes. So remember also always focusing on quality instead of the length of the proposal. It doesn't need to be super long. You just need to say the main points. And again, a lot of times clients are busy and they might not have time to read through a ton of super long proposals. So try to keep it brief, quality over quantity here again. And make sure it's easy to understand and that you're showing value in your proposal, and that value being yourself, your expertise, your ideas, and your work methods. And after you reread your proposal, think to yourself, would you be interested to learn more after reading my proposal? So that's why I really love asking those thought-provoking questions, because again, it shows that you're really thinking deep about this project, thinking about ways that you can help, and thinking about ways that you can improve it. And that's a lot of times when clients would say, I would be interested to talk to this person further, and I would be interested to learn more about their ideas. So some do's and don'ts of written communication. Don't use all caps or use emoticons or slang or jargon. It's not a text message, it's still professional communication. But do be professional and polite, be concise, include some examples of work if it's applicable, and always be yourself. This is what the clients are coming here for. They're coming here to work with an expert, with someone who has unique experience, and that's you. So be yourself, don't be someone else, and you'll definitely stand out from the crowd. So setting your profile rate, we touched on this briefly earlier, and again, as I mentioned, there is an entire webinar on this topic as well, if you feel like you want some additional information. But just to cover briefly here, it's talking about bidding low isn't necessarily a strategy that will help you win the project, regardless of if you're new to the platform or not. So you should make sure that you are checking other independent talent rates that are in your niche, comparing them to yourself, not only their rates, but their level of expertise, and trying to see where you fall within that as well. So checking your market value based on your skills, your experience, your track record of work, all important things to check when setting your rate. So as I mentioned before, if you forgot, when you go to search jobs up at the top, it'll say jobs, and when you type in your keyword, just click the jobs and you'll see a drop down, and that's where you click the freelancer button, where you're able to search through freelancers that might be in your similar niche as you as well. So you can also consider testing different rates to see how clients respond. You can always change your rates. So you can experiment, try a little low, try in the middle, try high, and see what works best for you. You can change your rates whenever you like. So don't feel like if you set one that you're stuck with it, you can always change it as well. And again, you can bid different rates as well when you're actually submitting your proposal. So always have some flexibility there. And a pro tip is ensuring that your rate accommodates your additional business expenses, meaning your taxes, your equipment, insurance, all the costs of having a home office, right? Because when we're working as independent professionals, we're not necessarily having all these things provided for us like we were in an office environment. So generally, it's suggested that you charge somewhere between 2 to 5 times your normal hourly rate to account for these additional expenses. And again, it's things like accounting, coming up, buying a home desk for yourself, all of those things. And because you're not necessarily working as many full-time hours as you were previously, but you're still taking some time out of what you're doing to make sure you're submitting this proposal, you're coming up with questions, you're doing the research. So just make sure that you're properly compensating yourself, and also that you're setting yourself up for success, that you're working for a rate that you're comfortable with, so that you can continue to deliver high quality, great work for your clients at the rate that you guys have agreed upon. So setting your bid rate.
So again, your profile rate is what you see on people's profiles. Your bid rate is what you're actually bidding on when you're submitting a proposal.
So they can be different. You can keep them the same if you like as well, but it just depends. So some things to look for are the client's expectations and their intent, which are things like their budgeted rate. What have they included that's their total budget, or the hourly rate range? Also, what level of expertise are they seeking on this job? Is it beginner, intermediate, or advanced? The turnaround time that they expect, so just meaning the project length time. Is this something they need done in 1 week? What is a 1 month project? That might not be totally realistic. And are there any indications that the client may be more likely to prioritize quality? So if you see any of these little badges listed there, like if they're an enterprise suite client, if this is a featured job, or if they're an Upwork Plus client, all those things that they've either hired a lot on Upwork and they're super experienced, like our Upwork Plus clients or our enterprise clients, or that they've paid a little bit extra to have their job be a featured job so that they can be ranking higher and catch the attention of those really talented freelancers. And the last piece is this a repeat client who already knows that you're delivering high quality work? So if you've worked with a client extensively in the past, maybe completed a few projects and they really like your work, well, you're continuing to evolve and gain additional expertise by the amount of work that you're doing for them. So if you have a successful business relationship, don't be afraid to have that communication with your client and offer to propose a bid rate increase because of the additional high quality work you've been delivering, the additional skills you may have gained, anything like that. Again, don't sell yourself short. It always starts with a conversation. And as long as you have open and honest communication, you would be surprised by what your clients would say. So another pro tip is that the budget may be more negotiable than you think. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but when clients post a job, they're required to choose a budget. So often they don't really even know what their budget should be. And with your experience, you can offer them some guidance. So as you see on the examples down here, you can see from previous completed jobs that they had a $100 budget, but they ended up billing $200 because they might not have been completely clear on the amount of time that it was going to take to get that completed. However, they still ended up hiring a freelancer for double the amount that they posted as, and they were okay with that. They just didn't maybe have a complete understanding of what it would cost to start with, but that freelancer offered them some expertise and was able to get it done, and they both had a mutually beneficial relationship because of it. So the second one as well, you see the original budget was $100 and they ended up paying $270. So again, don't be totally afraid of what the budget says when you see a job posting. The client may just be looking for some additional guidance, and the worst they can say is no. So just go ahead and propose, have that communication with them, convey your unique value, showing them that you're an expert, showing them that you're experienced, showing them that you care and that you're going to be the perfect person to get this job for them, get this job done for them. So again, as long as you explain your budget rate, like why it's different, why you have more experience, maybe you work, you have more experience, so you can work more efficiently to get the job done in half as many hours as a freelancer who's offering a cheaper rate, anything like that, you'd be really surprised how negotiable the clients can be. So don't let that steer you astray if it's not already listed as what you would like it to be in the initial job posting. So a great quote from one of our top freelancers and speakers, Danny Margulis, is, if you offer the same thing as everyone else, you can only compete on price. To increase your rate, you need to be different and deliver more value than the average independent professional. So just saying, again, focusing on that niche, focusing on how you can be different and how you can offer unique value that no one else can. Then you can compete with only yourself on rate because you're offering a value that your fellow competition can't give. So some other ideas to help you increase your earnings would be to develop a specialized profile. So if you don't know, you can have up to 2 specialized profiles. So let's just say that you're a graphic designer and also a user interface designer. So you can have 2 profiles to showcase those different skills and experience rather than kind of jumbling it all up into one. So if you have 2 completely different skill sets, feel free to take advantage of these specialized profiles. Reassess your rates as you grow, again, to adjust your rate as you gain more experience and you expand your skill set. Keep your portfolio updated, so as you're continuing to do work for clients and create successful projects for them, make sure you're showcasing that on your profile. If it's anything private, make sure you're asking the client for permission to share it first. But again, maybe with just a few tweaks or not including some confidential information, they would be happy to allow you to share that on your profile. You can also learn higher paying skills, so leverage your current experience to expand into a new category. You can take negotiation courses to learn how to upsell your services and negotiate with clients. And you can also upsell, so offer ongoing or related services to clients at the end of the project. So let's say you're brought on to just write copy for their initial website, but they're going to have ongoing marketing promotions and material, emails, and social media campaigns. You can offer to write that copy for them as well. So what was maybe starting out as a one-time project can turn into an ongoing relationship as you continue to write copy for them. And then it's a win-win relationship. So they don't have to continue to search out and hire additional freelancers. They can just work with you as a part of their trusted talent bench to continue to get all of their copy needs done for them. So I really love that suggestion as well. So 4 questions to ask yourself. With your skills and experience, do you really need to offer a discount? Are you avoiding clients that seem extremely price sensitive? Are you at the point in a longer term contract where you can suggest a rate increase based on your contributions and your quality of work? And have you experimented with a higher rate just to gauge the response? These are all things that you should ask yourself as you're journeying through your independent talent career, because you are going to continue to grow. It's not going to be the same today as it will be next month, as it will be next year. So just make sure you're constantly taking your pulse, checking in with yourself, seeing how you're doing, especially when it comes to your price-related setting and bidding, and also that if you're avoiding clients that are extremely price sensitive, they might be only looking for work that is done on price and not necessarily specific expertise. And if that's not your niche, your area of expertise, don't apply for those jobs, because that might just end in some negative reviews on both of your parts, which no one wants that. So again, going back to researching the job, looking at the client reviews, reading about them on their website, all that good stuff. So now a few examples of successful proposals. So here's an example cover letter that we really like. So it starts with a greeting that's specific to the post. It says, "Congratulations on starting your new company. It's an exciting time." The freelancer then goes on to note the client's pain point and offers some insight on how to solve it. So they say, "I know you've already begun writing your web copy. From my experience, I can say that crafting a strong brand story is not easy. When you get it right though, it does a couple of things. 1, it creates familiarity and trust with your audience, and 2, ensures that you're working in line with your own mission and moving swiftly towards your goals." In his next paragraph, he then goes on to say that they expand on their experience in a way that gives more information to the client, and it's still about them. So when I help a new company create its brand story, I have a process that takes a bit more time, but leads to stronger results. This includes 1, a phone meeting to discuss your vision. 2, a questionnaire to get us in sync to see about your brand. 3, an outline of your story and a time for us to review. And 4, a full draft based on this meeting. And 5, a final draft after we review again. So the freelancer then goes on to give a brief overview of exactly what they'll provide and how it's going to help. They say what you'll end up with is a full version of your brand story in a couple of paragraphs that you can use for your site. You can also use it as the foundation for all your future copy on the web, in email, on social, and in print. I'll also provide a 1 to 2 sentence version that you can use not only in materials, but in person when discussing what you do. Finally, we'll distill a snappy tagline from all this writing. What's really great about this one as well is, and when the freelancer ends his proposal here, he opens the door and actively asks for a call and an interview, but without being pushy or too presumptuous. So he says, "If you think you might be a good fit, drop me a line and we can set up a brief meeting so you can tell me more about your goals." So at the bottom, you also see that this client has answered the client-specific questions and attaches a couple of examples that directly relate to this assignment. So here's some invite examples as well. So, "Hi, so-and-so, thank you for reaching out. 1, you're definitely right. Focusing on the value that your products and services provide rather than their features is the key to winning new customers. It's all about showing them how you're about to make their life easier, right? And 2, in order to provide you with more accurate timeline and estimate, I'd love to learn more about your company and exactly what you're looking for in terms of your website copy. Would you like to schedule a brief complimentary phone meeting so we can discuss the details and see if we click? And 3, until then, let me direct you to my website most likely, so you can see what I did to help them with their website copy. Let me know if you have any questions." So again, this goes back to our important steps of our 1, 2, 3, which one is to recognize. So he's recognizing that it's about winning over your new customers with your website copy. 2, he's showing them that he cares. He's showing them that he cares by asking for a more detailed timeline and estimate that he can only give by getting some answers to additional questions. So rather than asking his questions here, he just asks for an introductory call that he clarifies will be complimentary so they can see if they're a good fit together and also so he can get his questions answered. And 3, preview what it's like to work with you. He's showing some examples of his previous work that he's done for copy on another website. So this is a really good example of a brief invite response rather than a full proposal of the 1, 2, 3 of recognizing, caring, and previewing. So here's an example of a technical proposal as well. So if you are into more website design, user interface, and things like that, your proposals might look something more like this. So he starts with an introduction of saying, here's a basic rundown of the steps, how long each phase typically takes, and the budget. You should plan to invest 8 to 10 hours of your own time over the next 4 weeks. You'll be filling out worksheets, reviewing content, and providing feedback. Plus, you'll want to leave time for this to simmer in your mind as new ideas will spring up when you least expect them. He then goes on to list these milestones super clearly of what it would look like to work together and how he can help them execute this project. So it starts with pre-project, starts with milestone 1, which is research, milestone 2, which is a story concept, milestone 3, which is a story outline, milestone 4 is the first draft, and milestone 5 is the final draft. And he ends with a summary there of the total timeline and the total investment that he thinks that it will take. So for the most part, the structure is very similar, but one major difference is that it can be helpful for technical jobs to provide a project outline like you see here. Some of the clients are less experienced with managing these type of projects that they're hiring you for, so you can add a lot of value by showing them that you have a game plan. It also lets you structure the milestones in order to set the expectations for how long each step will take, how much it will cost, and what type of interaction you'll need from the client from start to finish. So again, just being upfront and honest with them about your communication, about your expectations that you'll need from the client, and also what they can expect from you and how you're delivering it to them. So some key takeaways from today's presentation is 1, don't assume that the client has read your profile. Number 2, customize every single proposal. People can tell when they're getting a generic cut and paste. So let them know that you've read their details and offer specific feedback. I promise you the extra time will be worth it. And it's fine if they have a structure that they like to go for, but certain portions such as about me can stay the same, but focus more on what the client is looking for specifically. Recognizing what it is that they're asking for to be done in their project, showing them that you care by asking specific questions and previewing what it's like to work with you by giving them a little taste of what you would suggest and some ideas that you bring to the table. Number 3, responding to the screening questions first. This is our upside down approach that we talked about, where when clients are reviewing your proposals, they're going to see your answers to those questions first. So just make sure that you're answering those first, giving them a lot of thought, putting a lot of importance on them because the clients definitely have. Just remember, don't neglect your cover letter. It's still important, but just take these as a guide in writing your cover letter as to what the client deems really important that they want to hear from you and know about you. Number 4 is describing your relevant experience for this job. So don't just list your general credentials, but curate a few super relevant details so they can see that you're truly the best fit for the job. Number 5 is leverage your portfolio to confirm your credibility. So you can provide work samples, testimonials, and results, as well as tie examples back to your other Upwork contracts. So if you weren't aware, you can also get testimonials, which are basically reviews from clients that you've worked with outside of Upwork. So if you're new to the platform, you should definitely leverage this. It's just getting someone to review work that you've done previously and can really help strengthen your profile and show potential clients that you are great to work with. Number 6 is outline your approach and the initial plan for the project. So when you show that you know how to map out a project, clients feel like they're really in capable hands, that you're professional, and they know that they can trust you to get the work done. So just really showing them that you have ideas, you know what you're talking about, and you're trustworthy to take this project from beginning to end. Number 7, ending your proposal with a specific call to action. So leaving things open for their discussion, but don't leave it ambiguous. Propose a meeting time or ask them a specific question that they can answer so they'll reply to you and they'll know exactly what the next step is. And lastly is reread, edit, and consider. So make sure you proofread everything And always consider if you're getting your main points across with fewer words. Clients appreciate the care and professionalism, and it shows that you not only value your work, but you also value their time, because you just want to get to the point, tell them the important information about you, ask the questions that you have, and see how you guys can best work together and support one another. So thank you everyone for your time. I really appreciate you joining me for almost a full hour here today, but I hope you found some really helpful information and that you will continue joining us for future webinars. So make sure you check out our events page, which has information on not only our previously recorded webinars, but also anything upcoming that you want to attend live as well. And also our community forum where you can connect with other freelancers and get some questions answered, participate in the chat, anything like that. Again, I thank you all for attending. My name is Regan, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and good luck in your professional journey.